how do you feel about Canada's response in Ukraine?
I'm happy with our response. I think it's a very fine line. You have to be careful how you respond to that. Do I feel that we need to do more? We probably do. What that is, I'm not sure, but definitely I'm happy with our response. I think the world as a whole needs to come together and get a little more involved. Do we need to put troops on the ground? I don't know if that's the answer. I worry that it may come to that.
I'm not particularly up to date on the exact sanctions and the exact military support that we're providing. I think it's what's to be expected. I mean, Ukraine isn't a NATO nation, so I think we are, as much as there is backlash, I think that we are responding appropriately. I mean, it's terrible to see residential buildings and commercial buildings being caught in the crossfire and innocent people dying, but you really have to be careful when you're dealing with kind of an authoritarian state, as in Russia, because you never know what the response might be. But of course it is sad. I think the sanctions are appropriate, though, as much as gas prices suck and everything the prices going up suck. I mean, I think you kind of need to do your part because people are suffering way harder on the other side of the world right now.
Not enough.
Why?
Well, we need Winston Churchill. He didn't let Hitler get away with that. Look at, we're letting Putin just do whatever. Like, what if it was our children that were being bombed? We should put ourselves in their shoes, literally. No, the whole world, NATO should be doing way more. Sanctions are not, I mean, obviously Putin doesn't give a hoot about sanctions. He keeps bombing them every day. So we need to do more.
I feel like they could have handled it better and tried to make some more conversations with Russia before they got to what they're doing now. I feel like there could have been a couple extra steps made before going after them.
It's typical. There's a lot of talk. I don't honestly see a lot of things happening, a lot of arm waving, a lot of Canadians are thinking about you, Canadians this, Canadians that. A lot of blather. We don't have anything in our inventory to give them anyway if you're thinking about hardware. And from a policy point of view, where are all the Ukrainian refugees that need housing? They're in Europe, they're not in Canada. By the time we figure out our bureaucracy and our political stance, the whole thing will be over.
I think it's good, but Ukrainian people currently need more help, both financial, humanitarian, as well as military.
It's hard to tell. I mean, they're giving money, they're giving aid, they're helping out where they can. It's a touchy subject, nobody wants to go into a third world war, but all signs are it'll probably head that way if it continues. I mean, Ukraine, like I said, is one country that they have their eye on, but give it another 6 months and you'll see it'll continue on to neighboring countries, and before you know it, we're going to probably be headed into another world war. That's my thoughts on it.
I'm generally against Canada being allied with the United States, because I think that's nothing but trouble for us. Canada, I think, should be a non-aligned or neutral country. Obviously, I condemn what Putin is doing in Ukraine, but at the same time, actions have consequences, and we have to understand the geopolitical situation better. And as people like to say, we're sleepwalking into something much bigger here. There's a real danger. Canada is pushing Russia, and why are we making an enemy of Russia? Why are we antagonizing Russia? Russia has never done anything to Canada. Never.
I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's good that we definitely support what Ukraine's doing. I'm Ukrainian myself, so that's obviously important for me, that I don't want to see them completely taken over by Russia. But I think it's a sticky situation, and there's a lot going on that we maybe don't know fully. So, I think overall it's been a positive response to what's going on.
It would be easy to say we're not doing enough, but I think that if we probably knew everything that's going on in the background, we would be probably in a better position to answer this. Right now, personally, I'd say no, we're not doing enough. But again, if we knew everything, probably then we would go no, we should not, because that guy can press the button anytime, and that can cause probably even more harm that it's doing right now.
I am pleased with our response in the Ukraine. We all know that Canada has limited influence, but nonetheless we have done our, I won't say our best, but we've done a lot to be influential in the right direction. There, the usual issues that come up: percent of GDP or percent of defense versus GDP. I support the going to 2%, which would include the Arctic, and I would support any further measures in unison with America and the EU and NATO.
I don't like to see war, and I don't like to see what's going on in Ukraine. It's just devastating. It'd be nice if we had a stronger Canadian Armed Forces, and I have a nephew that's in the Armed Forces, so I really don't want to see him to go to war. But at some time, the democracy has to stand up for a certain sense of law in the world. And if we just stand by and watch what's happening, it just becomes darker and darker.